Have you ever taken a moment, just a quiet moment, to think about the bread you eat every morning? You wake up, maybe stretch your arms toward the ceiling, shuffle toward the kitchen, and toast a slice, maybe two, of something that looks brown, hearty, and comforting. It smells like childhood, feels familiar. But what if I told you that very slice, the one that quietly crackles in your toaster, could be silently accelerating aging in your body, robbing you of vitality, and nudging your health toward the edge? I know, that sounds dramatic. But as someone who's studied aging and nutrition for over 3 decades, I can tell you with complete honesty, it's not drama, it's reality. See, after age 60, every system in the body becomes more sensitive. Your metabolism, your immune defenses, even your mood and memory. So when we eat something daily, like bread, the ingredients, the processing, the glycemic load, it all matters more than ever, much more. And here's what most people don't know. The breads we think are healthy? They're often not. Some of them are metabolic grenades dressed in whole grain clothing. Today on Calm Voice Wellness, I want to walk with you, quietly, thoughtfully, through the 4 breads every person over 65 should avoid like a wolf in sheep's clothing, and the 4 breads your body and brain will thank you for every single day. Because after 60, every bite either brings you closer to health or slowly, silently pulls it away. Let's begin with a loaf that might be sitting in your kitchen right now. White bread. Soft, simple, and often labeled as enriched. But don't let that word fool you. Enriched is marketing code for we stripped it of everything good, then sprinkled a few synthetic vitamins back in. White bread is pure starch. The fiber? Gone. The minerals? Gone. What's left is a carbohydrate so refined, it hits your bloodstream harder than table sugar. I've seen countless seniors suffer blood sugar spikes after toast. Yes, toast. Wondering why their energy crashes mid-morning, why their blood pressure creeps up, why their waistline refuses to shrink. Now imagine doing that to your body every single morning. Worse yet, white bread starves the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Without fiber, it rushes through the system, leaving behind nothing but inflammation. For older adults, this contributes to constipation, fatigue, joint pain, and even mood disorders. Depression in the elderly has been linked to gut imbalance, and bread plays a quiet role in that story. Now, maybe you've tried switching to something that sounds better, say, wheat bread. Sounds healthy, right? But most commercial wheat bread is white bread in disguise. Manufacturers toss in a sprinkle of whole wheat flour, then color it with caramel to make it look dark and hearty. That's it. You think you're making a better choice, but you're just eating slightly darker junk. It breaks my heart to see this happen to good people, smart people, who care about their health, but are being misled by packaging and pretty labels. And then there's multigrain bread. Oh, how we've been fooled by that term. It suggests diversity, wholesomeness. But multigrain just means the bread has more than one kind of grain. It says nothing about whether those grains are whole, refined, or stripped of nutrients. In truth, many multigrain breads are worse than plain white bread. They combine several types of refined starches, rice flour, corn flour, barley flour, without fiber, without protein, and often laced with hidden sugars. I've seen labels where sugar shows up in 5 different forms: dextrose, corn syrup solids, maltodextrin, disguised, diluted, but still there, slice after slice. By now you might be thinking, all right, no white bread, no wheat, no multigrain. So, gluten-free? That's a trap too. Unless you have diagnosed celiac disease or a gluten allergy, gluten-free bread is not your savior. In fact, it's probably the worst offender of all. Here's why. To replicate the softness and chew of traditional bread, gluten-free versions are made from ultra-processed flours, refined rice, potato starch, tapioca starch, all of which spike your blood sugar even higher than white bread. They're also stripped of fiber, loaded with emulsifiers, gums, and oils to make them shelf-stable. It's like eating bread made of glue and sugar. You deserve better. You deserve nourishment that respects your body, that honors your age and wisdom. And here's the beautiful truth. There are breads that do exactly that. Ancient breads, forgotten grains, time-honored fermentation methods. And they're not only delicious, they're life-giving. Let's start with sourdough, the kind made the old-fashioned way, with just 3 ingredients: flour, water, and wild yeast. Sourdough is different because of the fermentation. This natural, slow process breaks down the starches and proteins, making it easier to digest. It also creates lactic acid bacteria that act like probiotics, feeding your gut and calming inflammation. For seniors, this matters deeply. Your gut microbiome affects not just digestion, but brain function, immunity, even sleep. A healthy gut equals a sharper mind, a stronger heart, and steadier energy. Authentic sourdough also has a much lower glycemic index than regular bread. While white bread spikes your blood sugar like a rocket, sourdough gives you a smooth, slow rise. This keeps your insulin in check, prevents cravings, and protects against type 2 diabetes. And let me tell you something personal here. My own mother, 74, had terrible bloating after every sandwich. We switched her to a bakery-made sourdough. Within days, the bloating was gone. Her digestion improved. And for the first time in years, she said, "I don't feel heavy after lunch." That's what real food does. It heals, gently. Now, if you've made it this far, thank you. You clearly care about your health or someone you love, and that's exactly who this channel is for. So if you're finding peace, value, or inspiration here, I'd be honored if you subscribe to Calm Voice Wellness. We're building a community of quiet thinkers, mindful eaters, and everyday people who believe health starts with the smallest choices. Sometimes all it takes is changing your bread. Another incredible option that deserves a place on your table is sprouted grain bread. Now, don't let the name intimidate you. It's not trendy or exotic. In fact, it's ancient. It's how our ancestors ate grains long before factories and processed food came along. Here's the magic of sprouting. When a grain begins to sprout, it undergoes a natural transformation. Enzymes awaken, the tough, hard-to-digest shell softens, protein increases, B vitamins multiply, anti-nutrients like phytic acid, which block mineral absorption, get broken down. It's like nature hits a switch and turns a dormant seed into a nutritional powerhouse. For someone over 65, this matters more than ever. As we age, our digestive system slows. Stomach acid decreases. Enzyme production dips. We become less efficient at breaking down and absorbing the very nutrients we need most. That's why sprouted grain bread is a game changer. It does the hard work for you. You get more protein, up to 30% more, and it's higher quality too. This helps fight age-related muscle loss, something many seniors don't even realize is happening until they lose strength, stamina, or balance. You get more fiber in the right ratio of soluble to insoluble, which supports digestion without gas or bloating. You also get a significant increase in vitamins E and C, both crucial for immune function and inflammation control. But perhaps the most impressive part? The minerals. Sprouting unleashes calcium, magnesium, zinc, and iron in forms your body can actually use. No expensive supplement required, just the right bread. I remember working with a couple in their 70s, Mark and Helen. Helen struggled with anemia. Mark had borderline osteoporosis. They switched their daily toast to a sprouted multigrain bread made with organic lentils, wheat, millet, and spelt. 6 months later, both of their blood tests improved. Not dramatically, but steadily. Naturally. And without adding a single pill. That's the power of food when it works with you. When shopping, always read the label carefully. Look for 100% sprouted whole grains as the first ingredient. Watch out for added sugars or any refined flours hiding in the mix. Some brands are honest. Others just use the word sprouted as a gimmick. Stay sharp. Now let's talk about a bread that's practically a full meal in itself. Ezekiel bread. This isn't just bread, it's a biblical recipe, literally. Straight from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4, verse 9. The formula combines 6 different sprouted grains and legumes: wheat, barley, spelt, millet, lentils, and soybeans. The result? A complete protein, all 9 essential amino acids, just like meat, but entirely plant-based. Why does that matter? Because most breads are almost all carbohydrates, but Ezekiel bread is different. Its protein content helps stabilize blood sugar, maintain muscle mass, and promote repair throughout the body, all without the inflammation that can come from excess animal protein, especially in older kidneys. This is particularly vital if you're dealing with sarcopenia, the slow, silent muscle wasting that begins as early as your 50s and accelerates with age. Without enough protein, you lose strength. Without strength, you lose independence. That's not being dramatic, that's biology. Ezekiel bread is also rich in prebiotic fiber, which feeds the good bacteria in your gut. And if you've been listening closely, you know the gut is the hidden engine behind your energy, mood, immunity, and even cognition. And there's more. The glycemic index of Ezekiel bread is remarkably low. That means no spikes, no crashes, just a slow, steady release of energy to support you through your morning, your walk, or your reading time with the grandkids. No brain fog, no yawning at 10 a.m., just clarity. If you're someone who deals with sugar cravings, this bread can help silence that voice. It satisfies in a deeper way, nutritionally and physically, so you're not reaching for snacks an hour later. Now, the last bread I want to talk about, the crown jewel of healthy aging, is also the least common, 100% whole grain barley bread. This one is special, it's not flashy. You won't find it in most supermarkets, but science is catching up to what ancient cultures already knew. Barley heals. Barley contains a unique soluble fiber called beta-glucan, which forms a gel in the gut that binds to cholesterol and toxins, pulling them out before they can do harm. Clinical studies have shown that seniors who consume barley daily can lower LDL cholesterol by 20% in just 3 months. Blood sugar drops too, often by 30% or more. That's not subtle. That's the difference between progressing toward diabetes or pulling back from the edge. But it's not just about numbers on a chart. Barley nourishes your gut, improves regularity, and even supports cognitive clarity. It's rich in antioxidants and naturally low in gluten, making it easier to digest for many sensitive individuals. Barley bread tastes slightly nutty, dense, and deeply satisfying. It holds up beautifully with toppings, whether it's mashed avocado, sugar-free almond butter, or a slice of aged cheese. And for those of you who love to bake, there are simple recipes online. You just need barley flour, water, salt, and a little patience. If you add just one new bread to your life after 60, let it be this one. Because while medicine can treat disease, only food can nourish you on every level, body, mind, and soul. And that's what we care about here at Calm Voice Wellness. Not just living longer, but living better. Waking up with more energy, digesting without pain, walking with strength, thinking clearly, loving your meals again. It all starts with choosing foods that love you back. So, what's in your bread box? If you've been with me through this journey, I want to thank you. You're part of a quiet revolution, one that chooses knowledge over noise and nourishment over convenience. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to subscribe to Calm Voice Wellness, because this is just the beginning. We have more food truths to uncover, more healing habits to share, and more space to breathe deeply together. Your health deserves it. You deserve it. Now that we've walked through the breads your body will thrive on, let's return for a moment to the ones we quietly slip into our routines without realizing how much harm they do, slice by slice, day after day. Because avoiding the wrong bread isn't about deprivation, it's about liberation. Let's revisit enriched white bread, the one that many of us grew up on. Toasted with butter, maybe layered with jelly, comfort food. But here's the hard truth. For those over 60, white bread doesn't comfort. It compromises. Without fiber, it offers nothing to your gut. Without nutrients, it adds nothing to your cells. And what it does add, sugar spikes, inflammation, metabolic confusion, it brings silently. That soft, fluffy texture is built on nothing your body needs and everything it struggles with. And those synthetic, enriched vitamins? Your body doesn't absorb them the same way it absorbs nutrients from whole foods. It's like offering a thirsty plant tap water filled with chemicals instead of clean rain. Then we have commercial wheat bread, sold to us as healthier, but it's often just white bread painted brown. Don't be fooled by branding or packaging. Unless you read the label and see 100% whole grain as the first ingredient, no added sugars, no bleached flour, you're eating an illusion. This illusion gets even more dangerous with packaged multigrain bread, because now we're not just being misled, we're being overloaded. Overloaded with refined grains from multiple sources, each contributing its own glycemic load. Overloaded with preservatives, emulsifiers, stabilizers, ingredients that have no place in food, let alone something we eat daily. And let's not forget the hidden sugars, often listed under different names. One slice might contain more sugar than a cookie, but because it's shaped like bread and labeled multigrain, we don't question it. But we should, because after 60, insulin resistance is no longer a distant risk. It's a daily concern. Inflammation isn't a theory. It's a condition you feel in your joints, your digestion, your memory. Your body is whispering to you with every ache, every nap that feels too long, every foggy morning. We just have to learn to listen. And then there's gluten-free bread, one of the biggest misconceptions in modern health. Unless you have celiac disease or a medically diagnosed gluten sensitivity, gluten-free processed bread is not a health food. It's often worse. Made from starches like rice flour, tapioca, and potato, these breads spike blood sugar faster than regular bread. They lack fiber, lack nutrients, and are packed with gums and binders to hold them together. It's engineering, not nourishment. Worse yet, the false sense of health they give can be dangerous. Seniors switch to gluten-free thinking it's cleaner, safer. But within months, I've seen clients experience more cravings, more bloating, lower energy, and even nutritional deficiencies they never had before. Because these breads are empty calories in disguise, and your body deserves so much more. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you finished a meal and felt vibrant? Not full, not stuffed, not sleepy, but vibrant, like your food gave you something. That's the feeling the right bread can give. Not the cheap kind, not the packaged lies, but real bread, bread that was alive before you ate it, fermented, sprouted, made with care. Imagine starting your morning with a thick slice of sprouted grain toast, warm and crisp at the edges, maybe topped with avocado and sea salt, or almond butter and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Your body welcomes it. Your blood sugar stays steady. You think clearer. You move easier. Your mood feels lighter. That's not fantasy. That's food aligned with function. Or picture slicing into dense, nutty barley bread, spreading it with hummus, adding fresh tomato, a drizzle of olive oil. That bread is lowering your cholesterol while you enjoy it. It's feeding your gut while it satisfies your hunger. This isn't just eating, this is healing. And healing doesn't come from extremes, not from cutting out all carbs, not from fearing food. It comes from choosing quality over convenience, from reading labels, from knowing what you're putting into the one body you have to live in. I want you to think of your bread not as filler, but as foundation. Because it is. For many of us, it's the base of breakfast, the middle of lunch, the holder of memories, the carrier of flavor. So make it matter. Make it count. Let the bread you choose be the kind that supports your digestion, your heart, your mind, your muscles, your life. Let it serve you, not steal from you. And if you're unsure where to begin, here's the simplest advice I can give. If a bread is fermented, sprouted, or made from a single whole grain with no additives, it's probably good. If it's shelf-stable for months, contains a paragraph of ingredients, or spikes your blood sugar, it's probably not. You don't need to be perfect, just aware. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just start. Start with one swap. Start with one loaf that nourishes you. And if this message speaks to something inside you, if it feels like the truth your body has been waiting to hear, Join us. Subscribe to Calm Voice Wellness. Here, we don't yell, we don't fearmonger, we don't chase trends. We speak quietly, we move mindfully, we listen deeply, and we honor the wisdom in aging. Because you are not too old to change, you are just wise enough to choose better. And I'll be here with you, slice by slice, breath by breath, step by gentle step. Until next time, be well and eat wisely.